Lo and behold, I see a fire pit, I see a plate, and there is a frozen body.
Now, do you think that body had been there frozen for a while?
I mean, I could tell you more. Do you want the morbid
Oh,
details?
yeah. Let's dive in, Jake.
Yeah.
All right. So first and foremost, we didn't even know if it was a body. So we were sitting there. Oh, God, this is so morbid. I can't believe I'm telling this in public.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Fasten those seatbelts and strap in. We'll get you to those margaritas ASAP.
Hola, bonjour. Ciao bella mesdames et messieurs. Salam and salam.
Welcome back to Drop a Pen. Today, we're not talking Outer Mongolia, baby. We're talking Inner Mongolia. I got one of my friends from China coming on the pod to share a story. I won't spoil it. I will just say it involves a dead body.
Mm-hmm. And poking.
And what?
And poking.
A lot of poking.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have tons of Chinese friends or friends that I met in China that I've wanted to get on the pod. A lot of them, you good, bud?
Yeah,
He's good.
I'm good.
A lot of them now have just like real legit jobs, and we're like, I can't be seen saying a lot of this stuff on like a public podcast. But they're like my friend Steed, who he was on my like the last rendition of my podcast, World Still Spinning. He's my Scouse friend, my first friend out in China. I thought he'd be a recurring guest. Now he's working at like a fancy school out in China. And he's like, I've already had some of my like fellow teachers come up to me and like being like, oh, I loved you on that one Donnie Does podcast that I saw you on, where he's talking about like absurd stuff about being like drugged in Thailand and waking up naked in a random motel. So he's like, yeah, eventually it's going to get back to the parents. So I don't think I can come on your pod for a while. But we got my friend Jake on. And then afterwards, we're just going to talk some like Inner Mongolia history in general. We're going to explain why there's an outer and an Inner Mongolia. A lot of people don't even know that Inner Mongolia exists because it's not its own country. It's part of China.
Yeah, I think I thought that it was part of its own. I thought it was part of Mongolia.
Yeah, no, it's actually part of China.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a heated rivalry. Not trying to reference the hockey show.
Yeah.
My wife made me watch that.
Yeah, my wife loves it too.
Mm-hmm. It's good acting. It's good. It's a good story, but there's some like, yeah, I feel like listen, I don't disavow gay sex, but there's a lot of it in the show. So it can be tough to swallow at times.
Interesting.
Pun intended. Yeah. But yeah, are there any other pre-boarding topics you want to discuss before we hop in?
Yeah. So we're both readers. We both like to read.
Yeah.
And we were talking before the show how I'm reading this new Ken Follett book.
Yep.
He wrote Pillars of the Earth, and the next one is World Without End.
Yes.
And that book, it's like 1,200 pages. The first one was 1,300 pages. That's so daunting.
It is daunting, and that's why I read my books out of a Kindle, so you never really see how large they are, and you don't get intimidated.
Yeah. So now I do that. Like when I walk into a bookstore and I see one that I want and it's that big, I'll go on my Kindle too. Like the Brandon Sanderson books that you made fun of me for having like different kind of shard blades and different kind of swords and stuff that people use, and being able to suck life out of gemstones and burn different like metals to make sure that they can jump on top of coins when they go all over the place. Those books I read on my Kindle and had no idea how long they were.
Yeah.
And then I walked into a local bookshop where I live, and I picked it up, and it was like 3 times as thick as the Bible.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why I read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich on my Kindle.
A very different vibe.
Very different vibe than your fantasy books. And also, Rise and Fall of the Third Reich is not really a book you want to be seen reading in public.
No, definitely not.
But it's a fascinating read. I recommend it because it kind of like, it's not like glorifying the Nazis, but it's like now you can kind of see how such an evil organization came to power and took over a whole country.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that some with Inner Mongolia.
We're going to talk about the Nazis?
No,
Okay.
that one country kind of took over another.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So without further ado, should we have on my guy, Jake?
Let's talk to Jake.
Okay, today on the pod, we have Jake, one of my friends from China. He was my producer for a bit. If you've seen any of my Thailand videos, you might recognize him. But I don't think he wants to talk about those Thailand videos today, which is perfectly fine. um, but we're having him on to share one story specifically, and then we'll bounce around a bit. Jake you would try to do a trip kind of around China or Asia every Chinese New Year when we all had like 2 weeks off of work.
No. So the time that we went on that trip, it was kind of a one-off.
Okay. It was a one-off, and Jake did a trip to Inner Mongolia, not to be confused with Mongolia, which is its own country. Inner Mongolia is a province in China. After the pod, we can try to explain why they're two separate entities. Now, how did you guys choose to go to Inner Mongolia? Like, what prompted this trip?
Yeah, so it was like my second year in Shanghai at the time, and we had heard all about the world's largest migration was actually humans in China going back to their hometowns in China. So we kind of were like, we wanted to be part of that. We didn't have anything to do over Chinese New Year. We didn't even know Chinese New Year was a thing. I mean, I was fucking fresh off the boat in China. So one other buddy, and then some other people tagged on. We're like, well, let's just go somewhere random. And so we literally that day were like looking for flights around China, and the cheapest one that we could find was like $35 to go to this town called Shili. What was it? Shu Hao Ta? What is it? One of those. I don't even remember the fucking name of it.
Okay, yeah. Shu Hao Ta.
No. It's a Hu He Hao Ta. That's the name of the town.
Hu He Hao Ta. Is that the capital of like Inner Mongolia, or is it just like a random city?
It's the capital. And when we saw the name, I mean, how could you not be sold on going to that fucking place?
Oh,
Hu He Hao Ta.
That's like, I've always heard that's like the Paris of Inner Mongolia.
Yeah.
It really is, actually. You'd be surprised. It's a different type of place. It's funny because in Inner Mongolia, it's contrary to like Mongolia, the people are different, right? So in Mongolia, people are kind of known to be shorter, but for some random reason in Inner Mongolia, they're all tall.
I mean, that is because like there was a lot of kind of encouraged migrations because Inner Mongolia historically had a lot of Mongolian people in it. And I think China was like, we need to make this place more Han. So I think they just encouraged a lot of like people from northern China to move there. And that's the same thing they did with Tibet and Xinjiang. They were like, these are these provinces are filled with minorities, but we need to make them more Chinese, because once they become more Chinese, there's no way they're ever going to want to leave China or break away or have some sort of independence movement. So I think, yeah.
Zach, I'm always thankful for your history lessons, man. It's unbelievable. I appreciate it, man.
So I think just a lot of tall northern Chinese people were encouraged to move there.
Yeah, you get it like in northern, right, like over the border of North Korea as well. You get a lot of tall Chinese, all those Dongbei Ren, right?
Yeah, eating that Dongbei food. It's hearty stuff, as we know.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Best eaten with your shirt off and a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about Ginge Dins a little bit later.
I mean, do we need to? I feel like we could leave those where they happen.
All right, so you arrive in Inner Mongolia, and yeah, something you'll see in China, like when you're living in Shanghai, it's even like more developed than the US in some respects. It's a very advanced city. They've always got new tech that they're trying out, but once you leave like the big cities on their East Coast, it's almost like traveling back in time a bit. Like a lot of these third tier Chinese cities further west are just not as developed at all.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Hu Hao Ta, oh God, I love saying it. It was crazy. I mean, the airport was absolutely abysmal. I mean, there was nothing there. And there were pictures of it. As soon as we got out, dude, the temperature was like -20 or something stupid. And us being a bunch of, fratty fucking 30-year-old guys decide to take our shirts off and run around in the snow. I mean, it was the dumb.
Like you were a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, we felt so cool. Meanwhile, all these Chinese people looking at him, like no white people go to this town. So they're looking at us like we're fucking aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to curse? I don't know how to talk.
Yeah. You're allowed to curse. And like, what was your plan? Did you guys have anything set in stone to do for fun there?
So that was it. Like we thought that was like the trip. we went to Hula Hata and we're done. So we went into town, found a cheap little hotel that cost us, $4 a night. And we were like, we kind of had a little powwow that night. We went out to a bar and then we went out to some club and we kind of got out of the club and we were like, I don't know if this is the experience that we were looking for. We could just do this back in Shanghai. So we powwowed and we were like, let's find the next cheapest plane ticket.
Wait, so then you guys flew deeper in to Inner Mongolia?
So then we got a plane ticket to a place called Shilin Hauta, which is about a 2-hour flight, still in Inner Mongolia, right on the border of Mongolia and almost Russia.
Okay.
So we ended up in this small little fucking podunk town. But we had one thing going for us. I had an old PA that lived there, and she was there for Chinese New Year. Remember, what was her name?
PA stands for production assistant, if you don't know.
I thought physician assistant is where we were going.
No. This was a production assistant because Jake used to work in the film world, the video world out in China. And so she was back in her hometown.
What was her? You remember her? She was tall. What was her name? Li Hung? No.
Lamai? Oh, wait. I might know.
Yeah, you knew her.
I may have pissed in a tent with her once.
Yeah.
What?
That checks out. Checks out.
We may have, the one time I went camping in China, we went to Moganshan, which are these little like small mountains, hills outside of China. We were all sharing a few tents and like got very drunk that night. And I may have pissed the tent and then tried to be like, oh, I must have spilt some water last night. Just try to, but nope, that was all pee.
Did she pee too?
No.
You can't phrase it that way. We peed in a tent together. That implies that she was ripping pisses too.
No, I think I just, accidentally peed in the tent that I was sharing with her.
Okay.
Yeah, that was some false advertising right there.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Lamia.
Yes, that was the girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was Mongolian. So
she was Inner Mongolian.
All right, so you guys went to her hometown.
So we randomly knew that she was there. So we ended up in Shilin Hauta. And and then we kind of just hung out there, and that's sort of where the story begins.
How much was that flight inside Inner Mongolia?
I don't know, like $25 or something. I still have a photo of it on my phone. There's duct tape on the fucking wing, man. It was not pleasant.
Yeah, and that's something I regret not doing enough of. Like, I did get to go to some cool spots in China, like Chongqing, and but like I never went to Guizhou, which it's the poorest province in China, but I've heard it's like the most naturally beautiful. And they've got a lot of these cool minorities there that live in these round houses. Look those up. We'll throw a photo in the pod right here. But
like a yurt?
A gigantic yurt that's got this inner courtyard. Like 500 people could all live in this giant roundhouse.
Wow.
And they would live there because it would be a good way to... Everything's facing inwards and these big walls on the outside, so they would be safe there from invaders.
Cool.
But yeah, we're not here to talk about Guizhou. We're here to talk about Inner Mongolia.
Aren't those the traditional Chinese houses though? Like you have the center courtyard. What do they call them? They're
I think all Hutongs will have a courtyard too.
Yeah, they have a courtyard and they have like specific places where they're supposed to be on the outside. Like whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Okay, so. What was your plan for Shilin Hauta, whatever it's called?
We had no fucking plan whatsoever. I mean, we were just, and talk about going into the fucking sticks, man. I mean, people were looking at us like we had just dropped into from a spaceship from Mars. I mean, they had no idea who we were. And, it was an awkward experience because we kind of got off the plane. I got in touch with Lamia before we were there to let her know that we were coming. And her first response was, why? I was like, I don't know. It sounds like something fun to do.
Yep. So what did you do?
So then we got into it. We looked for a hotel, got a cheap hotel. I think some of the boys on the trip were looking for a handy that night, but I don't know if that ended up happening. And then that night we kind of just stayed in the hotel, drank a shit ton of majo. Majo is like a liquor that they have up there. That's it's terrible, and it's like baijiu but worse.
Okay.
It's disgusting. But we were drinking so much of this stuff, and the thing about it is, when you drink it, it's like baijiu. You just burp it up for days, so your breath and everything just smells like fucking alcohol. But this specific kind of alcohol that has a very distinct taste to nail polish. So then the next morning we woke up and we honestly had nothing to do. Just in a fucking super cold place with zero plan. So then we woke up and we're like, there's a temple in town. Let's go to the temple. So we walk over to the temple, get on top of it, and it's sort of just a hill in the middle of flatlands with like a shrine at the top. So then we're up there, freezing our fucking dicks off, and we look off to the side, and lo and behold, we see like a abandoned village that was just rubble. I mean, it honestly looked like a scene out of World War II, sort of. You know what I mean? Like half walls, buildings that you could see the footprints of but are not there. Some remaining standing. I mean, it looked spooky as hell. So yeah. So then we were like, that looks spooky. Let's go investigate that area.
What was that? Do you remember the religion of that temple?
Yeah, it was Buddhist. It's all Buddhist.
Okay. And was it like, I know a lot of places that are remote, like you see it in the Bible Belt where the area can be run down, but the church is nice. Was it like that where you're in the middle of nowhere, it's completely desolate, and then a nice temple pops up?
No. It was just
Okay.
It was just a shrine on top of a hill.
And I think it's because like once China became communist, they were very anti-religion. And like at one point during the Cultural Revolution, they really just tried to like ban religion, and I'm sure they destroyed a bunch of Buddhist temples. So I'm sure it wasn't a high priority to keep them all in like great shape.
Did they go after the religious symbols, kind of like ISIS did?
I think during the Cultural Revolution, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of persecution of Buddhists, but I don't know for sure. I know that just because of that, most Chinese people aren't very religious now. They'll still like the churches in Shanghai would sometimes get really packed, and it's mainly just Chinese people wanting to see what a church service is like, almost like a tourist activity.
But even after they started accepting Buddhism, they still kept Christianity and a lot of the other religions as sort of as a faux pas or even illegal in a lot of places.
I mean, that's a pretty basic tenet of communism.
Yeah. What's their? Don't they have like a famous quote about religion? I don't know.
Like if you listen to religion, you won't listen to the government.
Yeah, something like that.
Religion, don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you go and check out this abandoned town.
So then we walked down the hill and we check out this abandoned town, and it is spooky. I mean, it's probably 2:30 in the afternoon, and already the sun's starting to go down. So it's kind of spooky. Mm-hmm. So we're walking around, and we're kind of going into these buildings because it was just interesting to us. Because once we started walking around, it became apparent to us that it was recently knocked down, this village, and we think that we were kind of discussing it at the time. It was like, well, obviously it was knocked down for development purposes, right? China goes into these places and knocks down these old hutongs to be able to make space for apartment complexes and strip malls, right?
Yep.
So we think that's what it was.
Yeah, and that's what they did in Shanghai. There was actually a really cool area of Shanghai that's probably all gone by now, but it was the old Chinese city.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because you'd be walking through this very developed city, super high tech, crazy, like flashing neon lit billboards. And then when you get into the old Chinese city, all the architecture changes. People are living like they've lived for the last 1,000 years. And it was around when I first moved to Shanghai, and then slowly but surely they kept on demolishing more and more of it. And there were some people that held out for a while, but what the government would do, they'd be like, listen, if you let us tear down your home, we're going to pay you a lot of money and move you into a brand new apartment complex kind of further outside the city. And most people eventually said yes. They held out, but then the government would just keep on offering them more and more money to move out. And so now, like where the old Chinese city was in Shanghai, it's just a lot of fancy high rises.
It's exactly what we did in the Transcontinental Railroad, eminent domain.
Eminent. So yeah,
Like
but
where the government can seize private land.
so they would just, when we were building the railroad, we would have to pay them, right?
Yeah, and there's aspects of that still when Trump wanted to build the wall. They had to do eminent domain
Yeah,
for a
now-
lot of that area.
I know that China doesn't have eminent domain, so I think at the end of the day they could be like, you just got to move out. We're tearing down your house. But
Okay.
they at least tried to offer them some money first.
Well, they can't have eminent domain because the government still owns the property, right?
Yeah, the government owns the
Yeah.
land. Yeah.
And
the
that's
government
why,
owns everything.
yeah. And now the one benefit of that is that China has incredible high-speed rails all over the country. They have the best like high-speed rail network in the world. Where in the U.S. it'd be so expensive for us to do that because high-speed rails kind of need to go in a straight line. So they would just need to buy they would need to buy up all of the property where that rail line is going to go, which is why they were saying that like San Francisco to Los Angeles high-speed rail was going to cost like $20 billion because they just had to buy up all that expensive property.
Zach, that's actually why I left China. You know that?
No, what?
So when I opened up that studio in Pudong, I had a studio that I was running with a partner of mine, and we had built this. We had taken over basically the old World Expo building of Venezuela, and we had got a bunch of investors. We built out this huge thing where we had like a car studio. We had full-time running studios for different content creators all over China, and they'd fly them in, and we kind of created a collaboration with Tudo. And then we were chugging and chugging and chugging, and we were just starting to break even on the company. And then the fucking government was like, "You're done. We need the building."
Shit.
That sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were just at that point of the startup phase where like, it's kind of a make it or break it situation. We were about a year and a half to 2 years in, where it's like, we're starting to turn a corner, but if things go south, we're fucked. And they basically took the entire area back over, and we just couldn't bounce back from it.
Yeah. I know even if you buy a home in China, it's actually only like a 90-year lease or a
99.
Yeah. It's a 99-year lease. It's not something you can just keep on handing down to future generations.
I mean, that's essentially the same thing
99.
here. Like it really is. Like you have a house, like you're like, oh, my house is paid off. No, the fuck it's not. Like you buy a house cash in Lincoln Park, you're still paying like 25, 30 grand a year in property taxes, even if you pay off the home.
Yeah.
Like,
but
the American thing of like, we own the land. No, you don't. You still pay taxes on it.
Yeah, but you can hand like a home down to your kids.
Yeah.
But then your kids will still have to be paying the property taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked about how it was cold. You get there, it's negative 20 degrees. What does the rest of the environment look like? Is it like mountainous? Is it forest, or is it sand and desert area? What is it?
So we're in the plains, right? That's this area is This is the step into the plateau, and I mean it's plains. It's basically grassland, and we were there in the winter, so it was just snowland. I mean it's snow as far as the eye can see with no mountains. Sort of akin to somewhere in the Midwest. I don't know, like fucking
Kansas.
Well, yeah,
Like
more like
northern
North Dakota. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And you guys are walking into these abandoned buildings that are half demolished, and just exploring.
We're just exploring, and all of a sudden we started getting a little scared because it was starting to get dark, and all of a sudden we're going in different buildings, and a friend freaks out, and we're like, "What are you freaking out about?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I think I saw somebody." So we go over and we find out that it's an old tailor shop, and they had like, old mannequins in the window. He had already scared himself from the mannequins, and it was getting dark, and dogs running around. It was already sort of a spooky environment. So it was already kind of tense. And then right after that, we were walking right next to it where there was a building that was all closed in, and it was just like a little hut, but it looked like it had recently been worked on. So we're just kind of going in places, and I'm standing out on the street, and all of a sudden I hear one of my friends scream. And then so he comes running out, and I was like, what's going on? He's like confused, as if like he doesn't know what he just saw. And I'm like, do you know what you saw? He's like, I think I saw a body. And I was like, no way, man. Why? It's just the mannequins, right? Because there was a mannequin shop right next to it. So we all walk in, and it's dark, and all of the interior walls are charred from smoke. Not like a char from like burning, but charred from smoke. Lo and behold, I see a fire pit, I see a plate, and there is a frozen body.
Jeez. Now, do you think that body had been there frozen for a while?
I mean, I could tell you more. You want the morbid
Oh,
details?
yeah. Let's dive in, Jake.
Yeah.
All right. So first and foremost, we didn't even know if it was a body. So we were sitting there. Oh God, this is so morbid. I can't believe I'm telling this in public. Fuck. We start poking it, obviously, as you do when you don't know if it's a real body or not, to see if it was, in fact, a frozen body. The issue was half of the face was just not there. It was all, I think we believed that maybe dogs had gotten in and maybe eaten this dude's face. So it was very disfigured. And we kind of started, after poking it and establishing whether we thought it was real or whether it wasn't real, we came to the conclusion that, yes, we have just found a dead body in a town that doesn't see foreigners in the middle of Inner Mongolia in the middle of winter. And all the weight that comes with that.
Yeah, because I imagine you're like finding it. You're like, holy shit, the local authorities, what are they going to do? Are the locals, are they going to think that we did this? Am I going to be in Inner Mongolia prison?
I mean, that's all that stuff's running through your head. And you're like, all right. So we basically bounced right after that. We're like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So we leave. All of us very shaken up at this point. But we did decide to name the guy Frank. So we'd have somebody to talk about. So we were worried that somebody was going to find Frank or find our footsteps getting to Frank and figure out that it was us. And, we're just, the police in China, you don't want to mess with those guys, and especially if they don't believe you, you're shit out of luck. So we leave, we go back to the hotel. We're all in a very weird mood. So lo and behold, what we decide to do is drink a shit ton of local liquor. And really kind of loosen ourselves up. And there was four guys on the trip. There was me, this guy Max from California, his friend from California, and then a Chinese guy who was our X Factor, which you always need an X Factor on every trip you go to, because this was that guy. And we're all sitting around after an abundance of booze. Us Americans are like, I think we should probably call the police to get out ahead of this. We don't want this to fall behind on us. Let's get out ahead of it. So we kind of decide to do that. But the Chinese guy, meanwhile, is telling us, no, don't do it. Don't call the cops. It's not worth your time. It's going to turn into a shit show. I think we should have listened to him from the onset, but it wouldn't have made for a great story. So then we go out to dinner. Just to be able to kind of calm the nerves and drink some more booze. And by this point, we're pretty shit-faced. And we're driving in a taxi cab back from dinner. We told Lamia about all this stuff, and she's like, you guys are just fucking crazy. And she's like, don't call the cops. But meanwhile, 3 drunk American guys were like, yeah, let's call the cops. Let's, we can come out as heroes or whatever we thought at the time. It's all kind of a blur because I was so drunk. So then after that, we're driving back and we're like, all right, we're gonna decide to call the cops. So we find out what the local cop number is, and my buddy in the front, Max, who has the worst Chinese out of all of us, we elect him to be the bearer of bad news, so to speak, to the police, to the local police. So he goes
because the Chinese guy on your trip was like, I'm not talking to the cops.
He wanted nothing to do with any of this. He was like, I am out, guys. You guys dig your own grave on this. So Max,
or Frank's grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max gets on the phone, and the worst broken Chinese I've ever heard is like, "Woman jiao dao iga suren." That was terrible. Which in Chinese
we
means...
found dead man.
Exactly.
Okay, boom. that I'm sure Max is better Chinese than me.
Yeah. So after trying to explain this to the guy on the phone, and this guy starting to yell at Max on the phone, the Chinese guy just gave up and was like, "Give me the goddamn phone." So he takes over, explains the situation. We get back to the hotel, and within 30 seconds, there's police knocking on our door. Keep in mind, it's a small town, right? It's only got like 2 million people. So it's tiny, and they're able to get there in a split second. So they're knocking on our door. They put us in the back of a paddy wagon. Shit you not. We're all sitting on the floor in the back of it. And the paddy wagons in China don't have seats. It's just like ground.
It's like a dog kennel.
Like a U-Haul?
Yeah.
Essentially, it's a fucking U-Haul. So they take us out in this U-Haul to go, I don't know, look at the body. So they get us there. We're locked in the car. And there's about 7 other cop cars there. And you can, just another story for another time is looking at the different hierarchies between all the different cops. It's unbelievable to watch. But so they go off, they inspect. We're sitting in the back of this thing for the better part of an hour and a half. By this point, it's like very dark outside, and very, very, very cold. And they didn't have any heat in this fucking thing. So we're sitting in the back of this thing, shivering our dicks off, just trying to figure out how long we're going to be in jail for. So without telling us anything, I mean, literally nothing, we're trying to talk to the guy in the front seat, like, "Hey, like, can we get some heat, or can we move on? Like, what's going on?" And the guy's just absolutely buttoned up, nothing. So then we leave. We go back to the cop station, and we end up in one of the cops' like office/bedroom. It was fucking surreal, man. It was like he had 2 cot beds on each side, and then 2 desks there as well. So I guess they have sleeping places for all these guys. So the 4 of us are all spread out on the beds.
That was actually, even when I worked at a school, all of the teachers would take a nap during the lunch break. Like, naps are big in China.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. they would all have these chairs that could then like fold back into just flat and take a nice little nap during the lunch break.
Yeah. Japanese people too.
They respect the art of napping.
Side of the road, just fucking napping it up.
It's a lost art in America.
It really is. You get shamed for it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're an adult man napper,
yeah,
people look down on you for that.
When I wake up from a nap in America, I always feel like a lazy piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys nappers?
I used to be. No. That's actually how I got my job here. Like, well, not napping, not my napping skills, but when Portnoy first texted me, I was napping. It took me like 3 hours to get back to him.
Okay.
All right. So you're in this guy's bedroom office.
Yeah. So now we're in this bedroom office, and instead of talking about the case, the first thing these guys wanted to do was just find out about us. They were just curious about us. They were like, "Who are you? And have you ever been to Disney World? And is you in New York City?" Their questions were more about America than they were about anything else. And meanwhile, we are cranking cigarettes. I mean, just back to back to back to back. And they keep giving them to us. And, in China, if you refuse somebody a cigarette, it's kind of an insult. So, cranking smokes. Absolutely cranking. And
that's how I got hooked on cigarettes, just because I could never turn one down.
And obviously there's no open window. So it's just this cigarette hot box and 2 fucking beds. I mean, that fucking headache I had. Anyways, so we're just sitting in there. I mean, keep in mind, we're still shit-faced, right? We're not sober at all. And we're just hooting and hollering at this point. We'd kind of already established, although they didn't tell us anything, we'd kind of already established that we were off the hook. They just were curious about us at this point. So we're hooting and hollering, we're laughing, we're having a good time, smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. finally, some guy comes in and is like, all right, we've identified him. It's just a John Doe. You know, we don't know who he is. We don't really care. We don't want a problem. You don't want a problem.
We don't care who he is. I wonder how long they were in there poking him with the stick.
Yeah, that's like all they did. They walked in, poked him too. They're like, yep,
oh yeah,
he's dead.
This guy, I've poked many a body. This guy is long gone.
Yeah.
It couldn't be these Americans. They got the $18 flight out here yesterday.
Yeah. They probably been like checked, be like, is anybody missing a dad? No.
So
Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good here.
Dad?
No local kids are missing a dad. It's just a John Doe. We don't really care.
Why'd you say dad?
Because I think he
You
was
could
like a
say
40-year-old man.
friend.
Like, would you say he was like a 50-year-old man or something?
I would have been able to tell better if his face wasn't chewed off by a dog.
Yeah, that makes it so much worse that you said it could have been somebody's dad.
It could
He doesn't have a face.
Is anyone missing a son? That sounds even worse.
Oh, I
I'd-
disagree.
I'd place him between 30 and 70, somewhere in that range.
Okay, yeah, it's hard to tell when somebody's burned. And no
Burned to a
face.
crisp.
Yeah.
So we did find out what the suspected cause of death was at that point, which was fun. They were telling us that they think he basically just had a fire in a closed environment and inhaled too much smoke.
And fell asleep while the fire was on. Yeah. So I assume he was probably an unhoused person, a homeless guy that had kind of just found these abandoned buildings, moved in, and had just been kind of living there. But in the middle of the winter, you're either going to freeze to death or you're going to start a fire and die from smoke inhalation.
That's a peaceful way to go, though.
Just fall
It's
asleep.
a lot more peaceful than just burning alive. For sure.
I've always said that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So
I'd love to
smoke
hear some more
inhalation.
of the things that you always say.
Yeah. Smoke inhalation, or he could have easily frozen to death before inhaling the smoke. But you're right. So he was right next to where he had a fire. So.
Yeah, and and there was a plate of food that had been eaten by the dogs, I assume, as well. So the dogs had a good feast.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Just in general, how many is the unhoused population in China high?
I feel like in Shanghai, there would be beggars in front of the very popular bars. There was one guy with just one leg. You would see him all over the place. But apparently they actually did pretty well for themselves. They would get like a lot of donations from people walking by. The homeless people in Shanghai would flash a QR code. And this was before QR codes were even a thing in the U.S. And so if you didn't have any cash, you could scan the QR code and send them like a couple bucks on WeChat Pay. But I would say it wasn't, I don't know like where the homeless people are in China, because it was definitely not a big thing. I think there are for sure more homeless people in the U.S.
Yeah, I think a lot of the homeless people that I've noticed when we were in Shanghai definitely had some sort of mental problem. So they would be there willingly rather than because of circumstance.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about Frank a little bit more. So then after that, we're sitting in there. They call it a John Doe, and they basically let us go. And we go back to the hotel and drink more, obviously, and try and get some more handies, which is a giant failure. Story for another day. So then fast forward. A lot of other stuff happened, but then fast forward the next day, we're still in Shilin Haota, and we're like, we want to go to a restaurant. We try and find the nicest restaurant in town. And we go, and it's like a Mongolian beef place where they basically just put a fucking entire animal dead on, not frozen, cooked, on your table, and you eat it. So we're walking in. We have a kind of crappy dinner, and then we're walking out. And as we're walking out, the assistant head chief of police, who we had met the day before, pulls up in his brand new sparkly Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
Yep. Sees us and is like, guys, you need to come and party with us tonight. So him and the rest of the police guys, just the assistant, by the way. So he's the assistant police chief of police, who's turns out owned this giant restaurant along with that beautiful, sparkly new Mercedes-Benz, which might be the only Mercedes-Benz in the entire town. Takes us upstairs for a feast, and basically it was the entire second floor of the restaurant, and there in the middle of the table was two roasted full lambs.
I love roast lamb.
Yeah, it's so good.
Any yak out there like normal Mongolia?
No, we didn't see any yaks. No.
Damn.
So then we started eating lamb and
Tough breaks, Chaps. Yeah. I don't even know if yaks were huge in Nepal and Tibet, I think. I don't know if the yaks are big in Mongolia.
Maybe that's what I was thinking, because I know, oh yeah, Nepal had the fermented yak's milk booze.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they drink fermented horse milk in Mongolia.
that's majo.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think that's what we were drinking.
Oh jeez.
I don't think I've ever seen a horse lactate.
Yeah, we've this has actually come up on the pod before. I've never seen like a horse tit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Tough 3 minutes on the pod just then.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys just are partying with the assistant police chief and then like all of the other police officers too?
Well, the funny thing is the fact that the assistant police chief owns this restaurant and he owns this really nice car, right? That's sort of the embedded part of the story, is that like this dude is obviously insanely corrupt and and has more money than he could ever do anything with, and owns a biggest restaurant in town. So, the corruption is hilarious. So, so then we're partying, and, next thing they order girls and they line them up, and that whole scenario kind of starts to unfold.
Jeez.
And the handies finally happen.
No, zero handies that night. Because these are like accompany girls, they're not they're not professionals.
Okay, yeah, they're more just there for companionship.
Yeah, they pour your booze for you. They light your cigarette. I mean, keep in mind we're going back-to-back cigarettes once again.
Yeah,
and the girls are making sure.
This was not a story shared by Jake, but another friend of mine in China went to a dirty KTV. They have KTVs, which are normal karaoke joints, and they have dirty KTVs that have working girls there. And he said that girls came into their room, and every time they had to go to the bathroom, the girl would follow them and hold their penis for them while they peed.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I would really enjoy. I don't think I need someone to assist me when peeing.
I think it'd be a good time.
Okay.
Not like a sexual way, but
they
just like
unzip your pants, take it out, be like, here's the urinal.
Yeah,
sure.
that's just a way to party.
Yeah.
It's better than the guys coming up behind you in the urinals in China and massaging your back.
Oh my God, yes.
What?
Yeah, sometimes you would just be like peeing at a urinal in China, and a guy would come up and just start giving you massage, and then he would expect a tip afterwards. And it's like, dude, I'm just trying to take my piss and leave.
What kind of tip?
Just the tip.
Yeah. Not that type of tip. But yeah,
no,
it's very commonplace.
It's common. It was all over the place, man. And they would always you'd be right midstream, and they just jump up, and the first thing they do is give you the slap, where they go whap, get jolted while you're taking a piss all over your fucking pants. Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like something you would tip for. That seems like something you'd be angry about.
The very first time it happened, I was a little angry, and then he started giving me a massage, and I was like, all right, it feels kind of good, but then you are expected to pay him, and it's like, okay, I didn't sign up for this.
I mean, just the bathroom attendants at like a bar or club is fucking annoying.
Yeah, it was like that on steroids for sure.
I'm not tipping you because you sprayed me with cool water.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that. Kind of just want to get in the bathroom and then get out as soon as possible with no human interaction.
I like the ones in China because you could get they sell you a cig. You get a cig for a kwai.
And a kwai is like a quarter, which yeah. It's like a 10-cent cig.
Yeah. So you'd go in and you'd get a cig, and he'd rub your back and light a cigarette for you all while you got your penis in your hand. It's wonderful.
Nice.
All right, so you have a fun night with them.
Yeah, I mean, we hung out with them for a while, and then kind of take off that night. We're all laughing about what had kind of ensued during the trip that we were there. Head back to the hotel, and then after that, we slept there that night. And then we, instead of flying back, which was really expensive, that's how they get you on these cheap flights. Is you can fly out there for cheap, but then to fly back, it's
Then you're in the middle of
times
Inner Mongolia being like, fuck, I really got to get home.
So we busted all the way home.
Wait, bus or train?
Bus.
You took a bus from Inner Mongolia back to Shanghai?
First to Beijing and then Beijing to Shanghai.
Are you sure it wasn't a train?
I think we bust to Beijing and then we trained from Beijing to
Okay.
Shanghai.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a long, long bus ride.
Oh my God. Oh, it was terrible, man. Oh,
Yeah.
the smell on that bus was rancid.
And was the Spoken kind of, were they kind of like when you guys were partying with the assistant police chief, were you being treated like heroes for having found the dead body and brought it to their attention?
So that's the funny part. They started calling us heroes that night. And we're like, what are you talking about? We were just walking around an abandoned town and found a half-eaten dead body.
Somebody's dad.
Yeah. I mean, so that's pretty much the best case scenario of what could have happened.
Yeah, I think we escaped badness. I mean, they could have taken it in any direction they wanted to in reality.
Mm-hmm. Now, if someone is to visit China in the next few years, would you recommend visiting Inner Mongolia?
Sure. I don't know. Depend. What are you into, man? Are you into finding dead bodies and abandoned temples, or
Yes.
do you want? It's all into what your desires are.
I bet you if you go to Inner Mongolia in the summer, there might be a few more activities you can do. I'm gonna search best things to do in Inner Mongolia.
So the funny part. So the kind of conclusion of this story is, once I got back home to Shanghai, we then find out from Lamia, who came back later on, that we were the front page of the newspaper 2 days later.
Oh shit!
Yeah, local heroes find dead body. Or
Do you think like
not
there
local
is
heroes.
anyone out there who has a photo
opposite.
of that?
No,
Okay.
she told us that. I don't know whether it's the truth or not.
Yeah.
She's not one to lie, so I don't think it would.
I mean, if it's a small town like you're describing, that's got to be the most exciting thing that's happened there in a long time.
Yeah. And now to keep in mind, it's small for China. It still had like over 1 million people, but that's
Oh, shit.
that's small for China.
That's so insane.
Yeah.
You want to hear a crazy stat? Check this out. So in the U.S., we have like 5 to 8 cities with over 1 million people, something like that.
I want to guess. Can I guess?
Sure.
How many cities in China with over 1 million people?
Oh wait, yeah, that's your whole thing, isn't it?
I'm gonna say, I think it's something nuts like, 170.
Wow, pretty good. 130.
What is it?
130.
Okay,
Okay.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it skewed my whole perception of population because I was doing a trivia competition here and they asked me the population of Orlando, and I thought it was close to 1 million people. It's like
300,000 or something like that.
yeah, yep, maybe even just like 100,000 or something like that.
I just found out that Orlando does like 80,000 unique visitors annually.
It's the most visited city in the United States.
Yep.
Which is nuts.
And that's why the cops wanted to know if you had ever been to Disney World. It's probably all of their dreams.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That in Vegas.
Yeah, that in Vegas, for sure. So, wait, did you finish what you were saying about after you came home?
No, that was it. They wrote a paper
Okay.
about us, and
Oh, yeah.
and I recovered for about 2 months afterwards.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks so much for sharing that story.
No problem, man.
There was one other story just about DJ Spenny, because the only reason I met him was through you. But I don't know if you want to delve into that or not.
Have you seen? I've been following his social media. I deleted social media, and then like a couple days ago, I got back on, and he wrote a book about how to be the ultimate man.
He did? Okay. Yeah.
And how monogamy is a lie.
I mean, people probably have no idea what we're talking about, but DJ Spenny was a British guy who sold his company in the UK. Maybe it was like a software company and made $20 million. So a lot of people would be like, all right, I'm just going to retire now and enjoy the rest of my life. His dream was always becoming a DJ. So he moved to Shanghai, he did a photo shoot with a bunch of Chinese models where it's just him surrounded by hot chicks wearing bikinis. And on all the posters, it said Shanghai's #1 DJ, DJ Spenny. And he had never really DJed before, but started learning how to and kind of sold himself to the general public in Shanghai that he was Shanghai's #1 DJ and got a gig being the house DJ for like Shanghai's fanciest club by far, Mint. This club was incredible. It had a giant shark tank in it filled with sharks, which was not good for those sharks to be in a club with just pounding music all day. I think they would have to replace probably 3 or 4 of the sharks every month because they would just die.
That's a lot of sharks.
Yeah, they were like maybe 3 to 4 foot sharks or something like that. Yeah, he didn't have fucking bull sharks in there. So he just lived this insane lifestyle. He played softball out there. There was a big men's league softball group, and he would always show up every like Saturday when they played in the mornings with a Chinese model on each arm, walking out to his men's league softball game.
What a legend.
Yep. And Jake somehow secured me an invite to his birthday party.
Yeah.
And that's where I filmed one of my early Donnie Does videos. So look up Donnie Does Shanghai's #1 DJ. And he would go by DJ Spenny. After that video, I don't think I made him look that good, and he was getting a lot of shit online, so he had to do a full rebrand.
The count of 3, let's say how many Chinese chicks do you think? 1, 2, 3, 30. God damn it, Spenny! You're showing me up on my own TV show.
And then started just going as Spencer Tarring. Wild dude. I think in the video he claimed to have slept with 5,000 Chinese women.
No, 1,500. That was the number.
Okay.
And that was where the whole debacle was over, right? Was because later on he was like, "How dare you?" Because he wrote me because I kind of knew him. Wouldn't say we
and you were the one who invited me. He was like, "How dare you invite this Donnie guy to my birthday party? You just made me look like a fool."
Well, yeah. And so then he wrote me being like, this. It was funny because the way that he worded it was more like, I don't dispute what you said, what you just disseminated about me, but it's not cool. He's like, maybe I did sleep with that many women, but I don't need to tell everybody. And that's like, dude, you're such a tool.
He had all of his trophies for winning the Shanghai Softball League Home Run Derby in his apartment. There was a very weird subset of expats out there where, DJ Spenny had sold his company. That's why he had a lot of money. But there were other foreigners out there where back in the day, if your company sent you over to Shanghai, you would be on this crazy expat package where you're being paid a lot. Your company pays for your apartment. They pay for you to have a personal driver to go wherever you want. And your job is pretty easy. There's not a lot you have to do. They just needed a token white person out in their Chinese office. And a few of the people that I knew on in those packages, a lot of their life was more about playing softball on the weekends than their actual job. And they're making an insane amount of money. It was pretty much like a fantasy life for these guys. I asked a couple of them to come on the pod, and they were like, I can't share a lot of the stories that I would love to tell. Because as I've said, Shanghai for some people was just like adult Disney World. If you were a foreigner, not a lot of rules for you, a lot of rules for the Chinese people. But if you were a foreigner, they're like, as long as you're not beating up Chinese people, as long as you're not selling drugs to Chinese people, you can do whatever you want. So these people would pretty much just, their entire life was just softball and hand jobs.
Hell yeah.
While making a lot of money.
Yeah, that should be a t-shirt.
Yes.
It was lawless, man. And even before this podcast, Zach was texting me, what can we and can't we talk about? And I had to send him a list of some things that maybe we shouldn't bring those up.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for sharing that story. Because there's probably 3 or 3 other people from China that I've floated the idea of coming on the pod, and they're like, dude, I would love to, but I just really can't be on a public podcast sharing some of the stories you want me to share. But this was a good story. I mean, you are a hero. I will say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You and the rest of the crew, you guys did a good thing because, you know, even if they couldn't identify him, like I'm sure once you're dead, it's a lot better to have a proper grave than just be left to be eaten by dogs in some abandoned village.
And probably meant a lot to his son.
Yeah. I hope his family got some closure from this.
Same.
Yeah, that's sort of how we positioned it to ourselves. You know, we gave Frank the best outcome he could have at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, Frank.
And thank you, Jake, for coming on the pod.
Thanks, guys.
Drop a Pin is brought to you by Nutrafol. So I just got back from my Bald Stool trip, Bald Stool Season 2. Those videos will be dropping in April. We've got 4 action-packed episodes, but I didn't go to Turkey for my hair thinning because I've been taking Nutrafol Men, and it addresses the key root causes of hair thinning, such as stress, hormones, and lifestyle. Quick fixes have never been my thing, so I'm taking the whole body approach to hair thinning with Nutrafol Men hair growth supplements, addressing key root causes of hair thinning from within. No shortcuts, just hair growth results that last. That's why I started Nutrafol Men hair growth supplements. And so far, so good. Also went to a Turkish barber there, and like that combined with taking Nutrafol, my hair has never looked better. And my ears are as bare as a Brazilian because they waxed my ears, waxed my entire face. So with Nutrafol, you get visibly thickness, fullness, and increased scalp coverage in 3 to 6 months. Start your journey today with Nutrafol Men. And Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off their first month subscription and then free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code PIN. That is promo code PIN. Drop a Pin is also brought to you by Noble. Noble is a footwear brand built for training. It's a brand for anyone who strives to be better every day. Noble celebrates a no bullshit approach to wellness. It's about being a work in progress and embracing the constant evolution to being better. The job is never done. And with options across training and lifestyle, Noble has options for everyone. I was rocking these in Turkey. I was just on my feet all day at the hair transplant clinic, and yeah, my feet never got sore. I was completely comfortable. They come in all different colors. I've got some white ones, and somehow I didn't even scuff my white ones in Turkey. So yeah, shout out Noble. They look fresh. Was getting a lot of compliments from Turkish people and Americans. And exclusively for Drop a Pin listeners, Noble is offering 35% off your first order. Visit nobullproject.com and use code DROPAPIN. That's one word, drop a pin, for 35% off your entire first order. That's www.nobullproject.com and use promo code DROPAPIN for 35% off. And boom, that was Jake. I know at the end of the pod, I mentioned that there were some foreigners out in China that were working these really high paying jobs, didn't have to do much. So they just lived in a fantasy land. Mm-hmm. I forgot to bring up this one dude, someone who would never come on the pod, but this guy was making so much money out in China and had his own driver and everything. So he wasn't afraid of anything. He was like, oh, if I break shit at a club, I'll just throw down my card. I can pay for it. If anything else bad happens, if the cops are try to arrest me, offer them a fat chunk of change and I'll get out of it. And it would always work for him. It's something he used to do on the highway. His driver would be driving him and he had a sunroof. He would have the driver pull up next to a bus. And while they're both going down the highway, or just down a street in Shanghai, jump from his car onto the top of the bus and then surf the top of a fucking bus in Shanghai.
I used to love playing that game, Subway Surfer.
Yeah, he would be actually subway surfing. And one time he jumped on a bus and he was just riding it. And then the bus finally came to a stop and a bunch of Chinese people are about to get out. And then he jumps off the bus right in front of him. It's like, rah! It scares the fucking shit out of him.
See, I those prank videos that I see, I wish one of them would get shot. When you...
Oh, yeah.
There was one, that I saw, this woman had some cognitive issues for sure. Like she was neurodivergent. She was on the autism spectrum and clearly struggled like going through social interactions. And this guy's dressed up like a tree, jumps out at her, and she has no idea how to respond. Just immediately falls down in the street and starts crying. And her dad comes up and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I think I would beat the ever-loving shit out of somebody if they did that to my kid like that.
Yeah, pranking is a dirty game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good way to get views, I guess. I mean, all those people that would be like, I'm going to Compton and I'm pranking people in the hood. And I think one guy eventually got stabbed or shot. And it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You're like fucking with people's lives.
Right.
And yeah, in an area where they're probably not used to it, when like someone's trying to fuck with you, they mean business.
Yeah, like the funny ones I'm fine with. The ones that are harmless, like there's a dude that will go around and he has like a fart machine and he'll do it in Walmart right by somebody and they're like grossed out. Or another dude that does something like a similar thing. I laugh at those because I'm very immature, but I don't have a problem with that. If you're scaring someone or making someone feel uncomfortable, I think that's the lowest form of like social media.
Knew a guy in China who they were doing a zombie apocalypse prank around the time of Halloween where he pretended to become a zombie on the subway in Shanghai. And I think this was around the time of like the bird flu or something like that. So everybody's already on high alert. And he starts like coughing up, I don't know, maybe like fake blood or something on the subway. He's like, "Oh, I'm like a zombie." Caused a fucking like riot in the subway. It was just like a mass stampede of people, everybody trying to get out of the subway car. The cop showed up at his door a couple days later, and I think he ended up doing like 4 days in jail for that. So serves him right. They were like, "You just incited a riot in a subway station. You're gonna have to pay the price."
And at that time, I think crocodilia was super popular in Florida.
Yeah, that's the drug that turns you into a zombie.
Right.
That shit looks brutal. I don't even know, like, why do people do shrooms like that? Do drugs like that? Like,
yeah,
if you got those same people on like shrooms instead of crocodile, I think you'd have a better outcome.
I don't know why the first time that somebody's like, "Hey, you want some of this?" Being like, "You know what? Yeah, I'll take that."
I mean,
I'll take some crack cocaine.
It happens in areas where people's lives suck so much. Like there's really poor parts of Africa and Asia where sniffing glue is very popular because
Kindergarten too.
It's just they want to do whatever they can do to just give them some sort of escape from the lives they're living. And if you sniff a bunch of glue, maybe for a half hour, you don't really, know where you are, or it takes you to a different place, and they'll just, they just want to leave their circumstances by any means necessary.
Yeah, we see that here in the United States because of the Purdue family with Oxycontin in Appalachian area.
Yeah. Yep. And that stuff's just so physically addicting too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like almost impossible to get off.
Yep. I've gotten very lucky. The few times I've been prescribed painkillers for like surgeries, just haven't really enjoyed there was a time where I was like, I've got some leftover Percocets, maybe I'll see what all the hype's about. And I took them and I didn't enjoy it. Made me feel a little nauseous, a little dizzy. And you kind of just want to like lie down.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this isn't doing it for me.
Like drug addiction goes real hard in my family. So after I got shot, I got one Percocet and then I was like, I don't want any more, and just went straight Motrin.
That's badass. And I think a lot of people have done that. And I think it's definitely worthwhile if you can stick it out. I mean, there are times and places where like, I'm sure painkillers have helped a lot of people, and then they're able to taper off and not do them again.
But I feel like once you can, like for me, once I could bear the pain without it, I'm done with it. I'll just go with 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and call it a day.
Shout out ibuprofen.
Shout out.
Shout out ibuprofen. All right.
That might be the first shout out to ibuprofen ever in Barstool history.
It gets the job done.
It does.
For me.
I take it all the time. I love ibuprofen.
It's also, but I think it's better on your liver than Tylenol.
Yeah, acetaminophen will fuck you up.
Like if you're taking Tylenol before you go out and drinking, or if you wake up really hungover and you're taking some Tylenol, that combined with the booze is really bad for your liver. And, and ibuprofen, I mean, it's still not great to take when you're on booze, but it's not as bad for your liver.
If I've been drinking whiskey or something like that and partaked a little too much, I have a little Motrin bottle in my nightstand so it's right by my water bottle so I can pop it. I always feel 10 times better than I would have without it in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the, I mean, not really a cure, but popping a few Motrin before you go to bed after a night of drinking, you won't be in as much pain when you wake up.
And me and the boys have decided that every single time we get together and we know we're going to drink a little whiskey, we all bring a big blue Gatorade and then at the end of the night, chug it.
Dude, I've tried that. That chugging a Gatorade at the end of the night does not help.
What? It's always helped me. Maybe it's just the placebo effect.
Maybe a body armor would help.
Yeah.
I don't know, but no, no, it has not helped me. I remember one time I chugged so much water before going to bed. I was like, I don't want to be hungover. And yeah, ended up peeing the bed and I was still hungover.
I've never pissed the bed from drinking.
Virgin.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever, I mean, it's not like
No,
I haven't been absolutely
that is
ripped.
good. It's become like too commonplace. Like Dana Beers just like pisses himself all the time. And just like, it's such a bad feeling. And it was becoming like everybody, like I knew a lot of people in college that would do it. And it was just like, yeah, I pissed myself. It's not.
Yeah, incontinence is running wild.
Yeah, it's not. And then Biz Nasty told me he's pissed himself and he hasn't even drank for like 2 years.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, if you're
that's just wet in the bed.
I know. If you're pissing yourself and you're not even on the booze, that's like that's something you should really be ashamed of.
Wetting the bed is a funny term.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot better than poop in the bed.
You got that right. Let's talk Inner Mongolia.
Yeah. So Inner Mongolia. So we all know about the Mongols. The Mongols took over, like, I think it was the largest land empire of all time. At one point, they were running train on everyone. And Kublai Khan, who was Genghis Khan's grandson, he successfully took over China. And then he was like, I kind of like how they do things in China. So he just became Sinified is the word. And he started his own dynasty in China, the Yuan dynasty. And all the elites in that dynasty were Mongols.
What does Sinified mean?
Sinified, Sinofied, it's just, it pretty much means to become Chinafied.
Okay.
Yeah. To become more Chinese.
So assimilation into a population.
Yeah, and that's what would happen. Like there were a bunch of tribes that would kind of take over China, but then they would just become Chinese themselves because they were like, Chinese culture goes back so long. It's they've got a very deep and rich culture, and they have a system that seems to work. So they would end up just adopting a lot of Chinese cultural traditions, and then after 100 years, they just felt like they were Chinese. But yeah, so the Yuan dynasty, all the elites in it were Mongols. So it was like a Mongol dynasty that just controlled all of China for hundreds of years, a pretty successful one. And then when they finally lost power, the Qing dynasty took over. The Qing dynasty was founded by the Manchus, which is where you get the word Manchuria and stuff.
And Fu Manchu.
Yep, I think so. And the Manchus, I think, were another kind of steppe tribe from northern China, similar to the Mongols. But they kicked the Mongols out, took over all of China. A lot of the Mongols went back to Mongolia. And then the Qing dynasty took over Mongolia. They kind of absorbed it into the Qing Empire. And they were like, you know what, the Mongols historically have given us a lot of trouble. Let's kind of divide and conquer. So they were like, we're going to have two provinces. We're going to have Inner Mongolia and Outer Mongolia. And Inner Mongolia over time became a lot more Sinified than Outer Mongolia. And the Qing had like a much stronger grasp on them. And the Qing were around for like 250 years. And then when the Qing collapsed, Inner Mongolia remained part of the Republic of China. That's when it became a republic. And Outer Mongolia, with the help of the Russians, they were able to become independent, their own country, but in the like Russian sphere of influence. Yeah, so that's how they became separated. And there was a time when there was a lot like big movements, like we got to reunify Mongolia. But since then, so many Han Chinese have moved into Inner Mongolia that like now it couldn't really happen. Like if they reunified, I think Inner Mongolia, I don't know the stats, but they probably have like 4 Han Chinese for every one actual Mongolian there.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I just completely made up that stat, but
I love it.
There's a lot more Chinese in Inner Mongolia now than actual Mongolians. Now, there's one guy, we might have to do a whole podcast on him at some point.
You nailed that.
Holy shit. Dude,
nailed it.
Pulled that out of my ass. 4 to 5 Han Chinese for every 1 Mongolian in Inner Mongolia. Now, longtime stoolie, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Have you ever heard of Baron Roman von Ergen Sternberg?
Who hasn't?
This dude, an insane. We should do like a high history just on this guy. A Russian dude. He fought in the Russian Civil War. So that was the Reds versus the Whites, where the Whites wanted to keep it Tsarist Russia, and the Reds were the Bolsheviks wanted to turn it communist. And the Whites lost that war. So he was fighting for the Whites for a long time, and he was fighting for the Whites in Eastern Russia, close to Mongolia, and they kept on losing. Eventually, he was like, fuck, the communists are going to win. But he didn't want to live under communist rule. So he sort of went rogue and just built up an army and went to Mongolia and was like, I want to bring back the Mongolian Empire. And at this time, it was before the Chinese had really been kicked out of Outer Mongolia. So he like built up this big army and then just invaded the capital there. And his army was comprised of like Mongolians, Tibetans, Japanese, Russians, and eventually conquered the capital and kicked out all of the Chinese. So at one point, this like Russian dude he was kind of insane, very anti-Semitic, killed a lot of Jews, very anti-communist. So he had those two things in common with Hitler, but he also thought that he was like the reincarnation of Genghis Khan. Yeah, even though he was just a Russian dude. And so he was like running Mongolia for a bit, and he was like, there was a Khan in Mongolia that like all the Mongolian people looked up to as their leader. He kind of like put him as their like puppet leader. And he just had big aspirations. He was like, we're bringing back the Mongol Empire. We're going to start taking over land all over the place in Siberia, Central Asia. But eventually he was brutal. Like he was just known for, if you disobeyed him a little bit, you would either get lashed or he would just leave you out in the cold overnight in Siberia to die.
Jeez.
And very erratic. So eventually his own troops were like, this guy's fucking nuts. And he got caught by the Red Army and shot. And then when Russia became the USSR, they kind of made sure that they were a very powerful country. They made sure that China was not going to like take over Mongolia again, and that Outer Mongolia would be its own country.
Damn,
but
I would love to hear you and Baldstool Sam rip on that.
About Baron von Ergen Sternberg?
Yeah, just that whole everything you just said.
Yeah.
I think going into depth would be awesome.
I know. You think like Russian history has been brutal for like
Dude,
that
still is.
Yeah, that's probably like one of the last places I'd want to live, because then like World War I, they actually got their asses kicked by the Germans in World War I so bad that it led to the downfall of the Tsars. They're like, you just led us into this war against the Germans. We're getting our ass kicked. The country's falling apart, and that like opened up a vacuum for the communists to take over. And then and then there's a big Russian Civil War. So they went right from World War I to the Russian Civil War. And then when the communists were in charge, there was like the Holodomor, where like Stalin, many people think purposely like starved Ukraine, which is why Russia and Ukraine hate each other. So tons of people were just starving in Ukraine. And then World War II happens. And that front in World War II is the most like brutal front like of the war too. So they just had like a rough 100 years.
Yeah, that took them 30 years to get back to their same population numbers.
After World War II. That's insane.
Right.
Yeah. But back to Mongolia, still to this day, Mongolians hate Chinese people. Cause it's just this huge neighbor that they have. Like you were saying, the Mongolian population is like, it's one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world.
It is the most sparsely populated in the world. And they're mainly known for having more horses than people, which I don't think is that impressive.
No.
Like you can make, I mean, how many horses? You can do 2 horses a year per horse?
Wait, you can do 2 horses per year?
I mean, if you have a horse,
Yeah.
2 horses, you can breed them and get 2 horses a year.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So even if you're pumping out kids as fast as you can, you're only getting 1 a year. So there's going to be more horses.
Yeah, true. And that's like, it's primetime horse grazing ground.
Yeah.
In most of the country.
Yeah, that area, it looks just like hundreds of miles of grasslands and things like that. Like I was reading about Inner Mongolia, and we don't pay attention. Like the American mind doesn't pay attention to much around the world for the average person. Inner Mongolia is absolutely massive. So to give you an idea, Florida, like the Jacksonville to Belmont in Texas, that distance is shorter than the distance across Texas, and the area from El Paso to LA is smaller than the width of Texas as well. Inner Mongolia is a third bigger than Texas.
Okay, so it's
massive.
All right, so it's like 133% larger than the width of Texas?
Yeah, it's like 2,700 miles or something like that.
Damn.
Enormous.
Yeah. And brutal weather in the winter.
Let me check that fact. But I'm almost positive that's what it is. I mean, I know that it's bigger than Texas. Yeah, it's 1,500 miles from east to west, which is bigger than Texas.
Yeah.
So that's 2/3 of across the United States.
Yeah.
Because as a crow fly, the United States is only 2,400 miles.
Yeah. And I don't know if Inner Mongolia is as like sparsely populated as Mongolia, but like it's so wide, but not a lot of people. So you could just drive for hours and not see a single human. Just you're in grasslands.
What's the population, Sam, so in Inner Mongolia, there's 24 million people. Okay, so Mongolia only has 3.4 million people.
Yeah, 3.4.
They have 2 people per square mile.
Okay, Inner Mongolia, because all of the Han Chinese have moved in, a lot more populated. But so Mongolia just hates China because China was the one that divided it in the first place. And now it's their neighboring country that is just so much larger than them. So that China can like bully the fuck out of them and pretty much like, they have to rely on China. That's where they probably import all their goods. There's all these conspiracy theories in Mongolia. I don't know if they're true, but that like China would like purposely import purposed goods into Mongolia. And like a lot of the older people in Mongolia believe that China used to do that. Yeah, they rely on China, and China can also just like come in and be like, we're going to take your natural resources.
Yeah, I mean, because their capital city is 40 to 50% of their population, and there's only 3.4 million people who live there. And remember, we were talking about China's million cities. There's 140 cities in China that are bigger than the entire population of Mongolia.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And what do I want to say about Mongolia? Oh yeah, so the only reason how I first learned that Mongolians hate Chinese so much is my friend went up to, they have a big festival in Inner and Outer Mongolia every July called Nadam. It's their biggest holiday. I don't know if it celebrates like their New Year's or something, but it's a huge festival. He actually got to go in Mongolia once, and he said he went to this rap concert where it was a bunch of Mongolian rappers, and he got it translated for him, and they were all just saying the most vile shit about the Chinese.
I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. I'm sure even on YouTube, if you go to like anti-China, I mean, we won't be able to play it. I mean,
just Mongolian rap, I'm sure would pick it up.
Yeah, we probably can't play Mongolian rap on the pod either. But no. Shout out the Mongolian throat singers. Have you ever heard them?
Yeah, that wow.
It's so cool.
Don't they have? Isn't that instrument that they use also called a didgeridoo?
Those are the Australians.
Oh,
yeah.
What's a didgeridoo?
Yeah. So
that's an instrument, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that makes that sound. But the Mongolian throat singers are making that sound just with their throat.
Yeah. There's a white dude that moved to Mongolia that I watch on TikTok sometimes, and he's like the Celine Dion of throat singing.
He's learned how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the didgeridoo. It does make a similar sound as the Mongolians guys can just make with their throat.
That looks sick. Oh, so the didgeridoo is an Aboriginal instrument.
Yes. Yeah. The didgeridoo. My older brother bought a didgeridoo at one point, and he figured out how to play it.
I mean, for my money, didgeridoo is the coolest instrument name.
It's definitely the coolest name. It would be tough if you're in like a rock band to be the didgeridoo player. It's kind of
Oh, I doubt that. No way. Because honestly, you're probably the keyboardist and the didgeridoo guy.
yeah.
You just switch up. Play me a song,
I mean, it's
Mr.
like, do you think a
man.
didgeridoo could like improve a song? Because a cowbell can definitely improve a song. I don't
Mhm.
know if just a fucking in the background of like a rock and roll song is really gonna elevate the music, unless you just stop and have like a didgeridoo solo.
Yeah, I feel like like the Toto's Africa. I think it could use a didgeridoo.
What's the most famous Australian song?
We come from a land down under.
AC/DC, actually. AC/DC could have used a didgeridoo player.
Yeah,
They're Australian, right? Yeah.
Volkanovski from the UFC when he came out last week when they were fighting in Australia. He played "We Come from a Land Down Under," and that entire stadium went absolute. I mean, I think it's their version of "Sweet Caroline"
Or Born in the USA.
Yeah, but more positive.
Okay, yeah. Well, a lot of people think Born in the USA is a positive
It's
song.
absolutely not.
I know, but a lot of people don't know that. They just
It's
like
weird. Yeah, they'll play it in like 4th of July, like "Born." Like my dumbass stepdad thought that was the best
Yeah.
like American song that there is. Like, listen to the words, brother.
Yeah. Listen, when the beat's banging so hard, sometimes you don't even have time to listen to the words.
Yeah, and that beat bangs. It could use a didgeridoo.
Born in the USA, just a didgeridoo, the most Australian instrument of all time in the background.
I might go on eBay when I get home today and order a didgeridoo.
I bet you could find a cheap one.
Maybe
let's see what the price of a didgeridoo is.
I mean, if I'm doing the around the office, one day I could change the no to a didgeridoo.
Or you could walk around the office and then we can see who can play the best didgeridoo note.
Or it could just say, what is this instrument called?
$40
Oh,
didgeridoo
dude.
at Guitar Center.
Bought. I mean,
Yeah.
consider that bought. I'm going to have that bad boy.
Yeah, just to at least hang up in the studio.
Yeah, in 2 episodes, we'll be featuring my first didgeridoo performance. I'll have a recital. Maybe me and you could have a recital. You order one too. We'll have a didgeridoo recital.
We will compete. Yeah, it'll be a compete. Who can play the cleanest didgeridoo?
Oh, that didgeridoo has 4.5 stars. That shit's electric. Well, probably not electric. Probably still acoustic.
Now, you know what we should also get, but has nothing to do with the pod. This we can tie into the pod because it's like the theremin. Have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, it's the most magical instrument of all time. All right, it was invented by a Russian physicist, so you don't actually touch anything. It's this like electric board.
Oh, I have seen
And
that.
then my friend had one, and actually, no, I had one. I did a video. Search on YouTube, Donnie does theremin.
How the fuck do you have a video about damn near everything?
I played the theremin in a park near the New York office, and I had a tip jar out to see if I could get tips. Yeah.
Yeah,
Donnie does theremin street performance.
We could play this one.
Yeah.
I gotta listen.
Hey, how are you? I've seen a lot of performers in New York, but a lot of them are just doing the same old thing, you know, playing guitar, playing some drums. So I thought I would change it up and do a little performance with the theremin.
It's almost like spa.
The first electronic musical instrument ever invented. Just chilling in the park with my magical rod, making magical sounds as I magically nod. It can sense your fear. It can read your mind. It can tell if you've committed a crime. I did half of the
The people
AirPods of this.
look so confused.
Look at this guy.
Think with your mind and not with your stick, or else you'll be dealing with a high-pitched scream from the baby that you have. So always remember to throw on a bag, and by a bag I mean a condom. And this is my theremin. I'm all about peace, love, and electronic
If you're not
experimentation.
watching, Donnie has
You have
the
demons?
antenna
You don't have to live with
coming
them.
out of his pants.
Yes.
Touch the rod.
Do you know who
It will
actually
slurp
filmed
out
this
all the
one?
demons.
All right, I think that's good.
Yeah.
You want to get your bad juju slurp?
That's
Yeah,
enough
just
theremin.
just search Donnie does theremin if you want to watch the full thing. TJ filmed that like way back in the day, but when he was new at the company, wasn't doing much. And I was like, I need a camera guy for this. And they're like, we're going to send TJ. He was probably, what the hell have I gotten myself into? But yeah, the theremin's like the most unique instrument I can think of.
Try throat singing. See how good you could do it.
At one point, I like looked up how they do it, and I was getting a little close, but now I
gotta say, that was fucking amazing. That was
it started
electric.
to get better, and I was
That
like,
was more electric than the theremin. You want to hear mine?
You got to have it come from deep in your throat. Deeper.
I don't have that deep. I bet a lot of people just turned the pod off.
All right. Well, that's good because we're pretty much at the end of the pod.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe too. Comment on our stuff so we can go higher than the algorithm.
Appreciate you guys. Shout out the Pinheads.